Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this does not work without you guys. So let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Jobu, your hair's messing with the sensor. There we go. You have to rearrange that some. So, I got to tell you, I tossed and turned all night last night. I could not get to sleep to save my life. It was just, I was not ready for this ending like this. This was a season that started out with so much promise, and I don't think I was the only one because I know Miss Jackie texted me this morning. It was just like, she said she went to bed at like 2 a.m. and she couldn't sleep and just feeling bad. And I'm sure all you trolls are going to revel in our misery. Yeah, cry, feel like cowboys cry, and this, that, and the other. Go right ahead, man. Whatever. Have at it. Your time's coming soon, too, so don't get too cocky. But I tossed and turned because I kept going through my head Jerry Jones's press conference because he does not want to do this. And let's face it, it doesn't matter what we think or we see. Jerry Jones is going to be Jerry, and he's going to do what he wants to do because he owns the team and it's all his right. You know, as much as people say that Dak is not the guy, Dak stinks. One thing you cannot deny is the steps forward that Dak Prescott took this year. Cut down the sacks by like over 30. Had 30 TD passes on the season with three rushing TDs, 33. Only 11 interceptions. 1 yard short of Tony Romo's best season, which Tony Romo had, most yardage, which Romo had in his ninth year, 4,903 yards, 1 yard more than Dak. And in that season, Tony Romo had 28 TDs and 19 interceptions. And interestingly enough, we ended up 8-8. When Jerry Jones found out that Dak was only 1 yard short, he was to his amazement that he was like, oh man, I would have went out there and run one more play to make sure that he had gotten that. Because the boy, as he put it, that he was behind was really good too. And see, that's one of those things. It was funny because while we were doing our live stream yesterday, when we were about 100 yards away, I started saying we're 100 yards, 78 yards, and things, counting it down. I knew where those numbers were. And as disappointing as the season is, and Dak Prescott doesn't care about those numbers, it's still try and put a little nice spin on it, have a little accolade here on the season. But the Cowboys didn't know. And Jerry didn't know. And I dare say there's a lot of things that this team does not know. For example, that when you use play action, you win. When you don't, you lose. That special teams are important. Since 2014, the Eagles have blocked 19 kicks. We blocked only 6, lowest in our division. That a big man in the middle, that one technique, that trash can full of dirt, means a lot too to help stop the run. That you can't live in the past. You have to innovate. You have to give different looks to confuse people. You can't just rely on having better personnel because you can't. It's not the 90s where you could just pay and keep everybody that you wanted to. It's the era of free agency, and you have to spend your money wisely. And it's not about 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense. It's about 38, 40 guys and finding roles for those guys. It's about having a mind and a leader who can motivate people consistently so you don't come out flat It's about having in-game adjustments so that way when the team shows you something you weren't expecting that's not in your game plan, that you can roll with the punches and find a way to have an advantage. All these things, as much as you want to point the finger at Jerry Jones, are things that a coach has directly on the field. Down and distance, situational football, clock management, all these things we must do better. And the reality is a play here and a play there can be the difference of winning and losing. That's all it is. New England won that game against us for one reason. They blocked a punt. That's it. That was the difference in the game. Bill Belichick saw they have a weakness on special teams. I'm going to exploit that. I'm going to use that and make sure I have an advantage. Tom Brady didn't outduel Dak Prescott. He didn't. Their offense didn't outperform us. It was just that punt. And the reality is the Dallas Cowboys, one-score games, if they turned the other way, would have been about 11-5 on the season. And that's a big difference. That's a huge difference. So, Jerry, there's a lot of things you don't know, but I want to go ahead and end this thing on listening to a bit of Jerry Jones, because in this post game, Jerry Jones tried to take a lot of the blame himself, saying that, we hired different coaches and things like that and stuff, and that Jason Garrett, is, I forgot the word he said, but basically saying Jason Garrett is very important to our organization. So this is why I tossed and turned last night. Let's listen to it.
A very disappointing way to end it right after our feelings about how the game, our game against the Redskins, and of course not being able to get in the playoffs creates a very disappointing
You bet it's disappointing.
Event. That's very disappointing from everyone concerned. But again, am pleased that our fans could enjoy it, and pleased that these guys have that taste in their mouth. And so we pretty much are there. Of course, the procedure is when your season is over, you effectively disband, actually call it disbanding the team, and you do that every year. And you'll be doing that tomorrow. And we'll have several busy days over weeks ahead. And I don't have any comments or thoughts to share with anybody about any pending decisions as to coaches, players, anything within the organization at this time, other than to congratulate our players on this game, and appreciate under the circumstances the way they competed, and I would have to say congratulations to Philadelphia.
Can you at least share what would go into a decision about your head coach?
No.
Do you have a timetable when you're going to make a decision?
No. I mean, I have anything, but I don't have a shareable timetable. The proper question here is a shareable. Do I have anything that I would share as far as my timetable, my thoughts, any work that I've done, we've done, any work preparing for the future? All of that I wouldn't comment on and share at this time.
Out of respect to Garrett, would you kind of make a quick decision just so he won't be twisting to a certain extent?
Again, I'm not going to comment on anything to do about those kinds. You see, I really know that that's the order of things and what we want to hear and talk about. If I've got anything to say, substance tonight, other than my disappointment about not being in the playoffs, but I'm not going to get into that out of respect for everybody, players, and really fans as well.
Does it make it harder because you have such a strong personal relationship with Jason? Does this make it harder?
I've known Jason really, I feel like ever since I've been in pro football. His dad was here when I got here and scouted for us for 20-something years. He gave him some great advice. He said, his dad told me, he said, stay next to Jerry. So, bottom line is, I have all the respect in the world for him and his lineage, and he's outstanding. I think he's an outstanding asset, not only for us, but for the NFL.
You said that you coming up here. Do you have any plans for bringing in candidates that might be on off?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that.
You've talked about how you've been able to share a great football life with Jason. Can you talk about how unique that relationship has been?
Well, again, I don't want to get into that. So one way or the other as to whether it's a reflection or whether it's an assessment of where we are going forward. I don't want to get into that.
Jerry, how much of an indictment is it that your group, all they had to do was do this 7 days ago and you wouldn't be standing here?
Well, again, we certainly would like to have had this game there in Philadelphia, but we didn't, of course. But these are the consequences that happen. You can't have some of the missteps or have some of the losses that we had throughout the year and not ultimately pay the fiddler. And that's exactly what has happened tonight. We played well enough out there tonight to beat these Redskins good here at home, but we didn't play well enough in Philadelphia to win the East. So for that, I do regret for our fans.
Have you gone into a season with so much expectations to end like this and such disappointment and unfulfilled expectations?
Well, I do and have had many times in my short life. I've had dreams or expectations. I've had that happen. It just is what happens when you dream a lot and you hope a lot and you try for it a lot. And that room's full of guys in there that really have a high bar and reach for it. And I sure feel terrible for them because I know how bad they feel for their teammates and really in what might have been.
Is there any way for you to understand what has happened this year with not making the playoffs? I mean, there's so much talent. Is there any way for you to understand not making the playoffs?
For me to understand?
Yeah, or you look at the talent that you have in the roster, but you look at the way things play out this season.
But what was your question?
Is there any way for you to
How can you make sense of it?
of it, I guess?
Well, I can tell you if the Giants could have beaten Philadelphia up there, I've got no sense that we would have been in the playoffs standing out here right now. I understand how to add.
How much of that, Jerry, and even this game, there's a danger of it being fool's gold, that you convince yourself that, oh, all we had to do was this, when maybe you're not good enough to do this?
Well, I think at the end of the day, we weren't up to the task of winning the East.
We weren't.
And giving ourselves an opportunity in the playoffs. We were not. And that has an end, and it's tonight, it's now. So we all agree on that.
When you go into
Can you
it,
access the job that Jason did? I mean, I think
I'm not going to get into it at all. An evaluation, an assessment. I'm not. I don't mean to have an attitude. I don't have an attitude. Those days are behind us as far as having attitudes. Right. And so
Well, you get the gist of that. Technically, Jason Garrett's contract ends January 14th, and who knows? Jerry doesn't seem to be in a hurry to do something, but other teams seems to be on the fast track of trying to find new coaches sooner than later. Unless Jerry Jones has a deal that he knows or a guy that he's pretty sure about, if he's looking to interview some of the current pool and get the best one, well, you may not get the guy you want. The Redskins are supposed to be right away interviewing Ron Rivera as well as Marvin Lewis. They fired Bruce Allen. We know Kitchens is out in Detroit. I believe Doug Marrone is going to be out in Jacksonville. Yeah, people are looking for coaches. So one thing you say about the Cowboys is it seems like they wait to make decisions. And Well, we'll talk about that later. This video is getting kind of long. So, here's to an off season of fixing the boys. We're going to go back to a segment that we haven't had in years, which was called Fixing the Boys, where we look at problems that we've had this year and what would be the fixes for those. I guess we could start with the first one being it's time to wipe the slate clean and start over with a new coach. I'll see you guys soon.